Welcome back. This episode will be covering MLB baseball. We're going to have a big focus on the Phillies and the NL East as a whole. I'm your host, Brian. Alongside me is Cameron and Brock as well. So
What up?
again,
How's it going?
Welcome back.
welcome back to the Fraud Street Fandom Podcast. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Well, like I said, heavy on Phillies today, but we are going to get into the NL East, kind of give our predictions of what we think the division is going to look like, kind of talk about some of the additions that the other teams made in the offseason as well as the Phillies, and give you a quick breakdown of what we think. So let's start off with the lineup. Projected lineup from MLB.com for the Phillies right now. They have Trey Turner, shortstop, leading off. So what do you guys think? You think that's actually going to happen? Or
I would hope they at least give it a shot. They got to change something up.
Yeah.
Thompson loves keeping the same lineup just the same way and never changing.
So for those that don't know, Kyle Schwarber has been our leadoff hitter for the most part over the last 2-3 years. He's been successful at it. The team has been successful at it. So I understand Thompson not wanting to change things up, but I agree. I want to change it up. I want to put Turner up there at 1. I want him to change his mindset. I think right now, him in the 3-hole, he's trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
I need him to get on base and utilize his speed and work more pitches instead of trying to flail and swing at everything just because people are on or whatever. I think it'll be in his best interest also to just be in that leadoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, I am the opposite, right? Like, I think Schwarber should be the leadoff guy. What was the record that he set last year for leadoff home runs?
Yeah, I mean,
he
it definitely produces.
Yeah.
His on-base percentage is 360-something as a leadoff hitter. He sees pitches. He can take that first swing hack. You get up early. Granted, yes, obviously he's not the speedster, the prototypical leadoff hitter, but if you look at Schwarber hitting leadoff versus Schwarber hitting cleanup, his numbers are just completely different. Like, he's such a better leadoff hitter than he is a batter down the lineup. And if you're going to say that you're taking Schwarber's production out of the 1 hole and putting it down and he's lessening his production versus Trey Turner, which can bat second, can bat third, can bat leadoff also as well. If Thompson makes that decision, I think that it hurts the team more than it helps. Because if Schwarber is solidified as one of the best leadoff hitters, granted, again, his average last year I think was like 240. The year before was under 200. But his on base, he gets on base. And then also you get the turnaround later in the game. So we're only talking about the first inning. Doesn't really actually matter.
Yeah.
But we need that production in the bottom of the lineup to where they're going to get on base. Then you have Schwarber come up first to where he can then give you that big boom, get the runners in. So I do think that Schwarber makes sense as a leadoff hitter. I've had this argument with you guys multiple times. I've had it with other Phillies fans. Like, I do think that Schwarber is best in the leadoff hole versus Trey Turner.
So my point to what you said about the bottom of the lineup, though, is the fact that those guys do not get on base in front of him. So it's always him on base. It's
a lot
him
of
up to the
solo
plate.
home runs
Nobody
there.
up there.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
That's why I want to see. Like I said, it doesn't have to be all year. I just want to see. I like that if Thompson can just try something different at times because he's always just
stuck to his guns.
The same lineup every time, and it's just like, and all he does is platoon the bottom, and it's like just pick, try something out. Like,
he's one of those
analytic guys.
He likes to break up the righties. He likes to break up the lefties, so he likes to alternate there, and it makes sense, especially when you get into later in the game where you have the relief pitchers coming in. You don't want them to have to face 3 lefties in a row because it puts you at a disadvantage. So he's going to follow that mindset of we're breaking the lefties, we're breaking the righties up. So I like Trey Turner there because I want him to set the table. I want him to get on base. I think what I'd like for Schwarber to do is in that cleanup, kind of what you were mentioning. It's like if you have Turner, Harper, Bohm, whoever in front of you, and they're getting on base, those solo home runs are now 3-4 home runs if they can get on base. So I like also the thing that Schwarber does that gives you protection on some of the other guys that are there. So having him in the cleanup spot, yes, you get to the point where it's like, all right, now you have Bryson Stott, you have Marsh or whoever's platooning in center field ahead of him, like when we're getting into the later innings. But are they really helping out? Because like Brock said, it's like they're not getting on base. So I agree. I mean, you make a valid point. Like like their record with Schwarber as leadoff.
They won 95 games last year, and I'm worried about him being.
I wouldn't be angry. Like I wouldn't be irate if they did it. Like if say the first game they do this, and then game 2 Schwarber's leading off. I'd be like, it's fine. It's just like I said, it's just trying it. I think see what comes out better, and then down the road, boom, said it. Like
my argument's more of let's get Turner fixed. Let's get Turner in a position to where he can produce because he's the one that Schwarber's not the one that's not pulling his own.
Like we know what we get.
It's
from
like
Schwarber,
Turner's been hit or miss, whether he's injuries or what, but it's like he's just not producing at the level that we wanted him to or what our expectations are. So
absolutely.
if we could put him in that one hole, and it's like he just changes his plate,
mentality.
Exactly. It's mentality. It's like go up there and it's like, all right, work walks, get on base, use your speed. You're one of the fastest players in baseball. And the fact that he doesn't even steal, like I know he was hurt with a hamstring last year, but come on, man, you got to be able to steal some bases.
Yeah, I mean, it's more so like obviously Schwarber's up at the end of the year, right? Are we going to bring him back? Is he done? Turner's here for 6-7 more years, right? Like we have to kind of invest in Turner. So I understand that point.
Yep.
It's just while we have Schwarber, if he's at his best at the one hole, we gotta keep running with him. Like the dude's hitting 50 home runs almost every year.
Yeah.
Like if it's working for him, make it work, right? So again, that's kind of my thing with Schwarber. Also want to point out he had 5 stolen bases last year.
Oh, look at those wheels, baby.
He was only caught stealing 3 times as a leadoff hitter. That's pretty fucking good. 5 out of 8, pretty good percentage.
So I saw the meme last year of Ted running
He's little
in the
Ted.
it's Schwarber all day. It was great. Yeah, it was hilarious. So,
but again, he does have some speed.
Yeah.
It's just, he's not Trey Turner speed.
Yeah.
Also, definitely during Hoagie Fest, you have to put him in the leadoff spot.
100%. When June,
Schwarber Fest. Sorry, So that stretch, you definitely got to put him in.
No, you got to put him in the 4-hole because he's going to be hitting bombs anyway. It's like those people in front of him. So, all right. So,
man, love Schwarber Fest. So.
Oh man, it's great.
Right now MLB has Trey Turner at the 1 spot. Obviously that's a point of contention and throughout Philly of who's going to lead off. So not so much of any questions here. Bryce Harper, number 2, makes a ton of sense.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you get him as many at bats as you can in a game because he's going to come up and for the most part he produces. Big spots, everything. I like him too. There's no disagreement in my mind.
So if you put Schwarber at 1,
my disagreement is who's behind
you're
him.
putting Turner at 2, Harper at 3. So you're putting Harper back
dictated off of.
So that does also benefit because obviously Bryce is the guy. He's going to get more at bats at 2 than he would 3. So you're not going to back Schwarber and Harper up in the lineup. So again, that kind of goes to you guys' point of throwing Trey in at 1.
Yeah,
and then you have Harper come up at 2. But again, we'll see how Thompson likes to manage it, and I think he is pretty consistent with keeping.
Yeah, he likes everybody to kind of have vision. You're going to be in where you're going to be every day. We're not bouncing you around like Gabe Kapler used to do. Like they would have no idea what they're where they're playing.
Guys have confidence because they know every day that they're going to be that spot, then called on that spot, and they just go out there and do it each time.
But it does make sense to give Bryce as many bats as possible because he is our guy. He's going to be our guy for the next 8 more years, right?
We go as far as he goes. Yeah.
Exactly. So after him, Alec Boehm. In the 3 spot, Alec, I'm hoping last year he had a great year. He actually had a great year, especially the first half of the year. And then towards the end, I don't know if an injury caused him to kind of overdo it, overthink it, but he let his emotions get the best of him, which he's been known to do. He let his emotions get the best of him. Against the Mets. So it's like, I mean, he had 3 errors in 2 innings or whatever. So it's like, So, of course, Philly mindset, they're going to let you know it. I'm hoping this year, he's matured a little bit, comes up with a better mindset because he is a very valuable player. It's probably more doubles. He was going to lead the league in doubles last year if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, him and Ozuna were kind of going back and forth on that.
He, the thing with Boom, I think a lot of it last year, home run derby, right? Like,
he
participated in it. He did well in it, and it's great for him as a personal achievement, right? Like to get invited to the home run derby is a great accomplishment as a player, and then to try and produce in that, and then afterwards he has this almost pressure to get 100 RBIs.
It seemed like he put a lot of pressure on himself to meet these goals. And then once he was struggling, and it's like if you're looking at it like that, you're going to struggle because you're overthinking it, you're overdoing it. Like you got to go out there and just play.
You try to do that uppercut swing that you're doing in the home run.
Bobby Abreu.
I was going to say the Phillies don't have a good track record after. Like they do well. Bobby Abreu crushed home runs when he was in the derby. Howard did too, but it's like what was their production in the regular season afterwards?
I think
sure Howard was fine.
Howard was fine. Abreu
struggled. So, and it's similar. I think a lot of Bohm's was him overdoing it, but also he had that wrist injury towards the end of last year too.
Yeah, and it was a fluke, right? Like he was just swinging the bat, and then his wrist just gave up on him, and
he just kind of like let go of the bat and was like, "What the hell?" Like,
he was out for a couple weeks on the season. Comes in the playoffs ice cold.
Yeah,
and
then it's like he hit that one ball in a line. The guy makes a great catch on it, and like he literally is just like he's like, I can't catch a break, but it's like hopefully, like I said, very emotional player. Hopefully
very emotional when he's crying in the dugout. That was tough to watch.
And then when he got benched too, like against them, so it's just like he worries me behind Harper because like if like say Trey gets out or say Trey gets out, so Harper's up, and then they go like, well, hey guys, we have Bohm behind him, we don't have to give Harper anything to hit. Like I mean, we hope that Bohm can do what he did in that first half, but I gotta see him do it the whole year.
Yeah, like, but again, like what I'm looking at, it's like, all right, say Trey Turner gets on, works a walk or whatever, Harper hits a single, now you have first and third or first and second.
Yeah.
If Bohm's hitting those doubles like he normally is, you're getting 2 RBI doubles because Harper's going to be busting his ass.
And they're going to give him that pitch because they don't want to have Schwarber.
Because they have Schwarber behind him.
Exactly.
So it's like, I like that. I like that breakdown of what they have in that, the top of the lineup there. So, I think Bohm's going to come in with the right mindset.
Hopefully. He's been fine so far in spring, right? He hasn't mentioned it. I know in the offseason, there's a lot of trade talk, a lot of bullshit media coming out there saying that he's going to get traded.
Yep.
A lot of things connecting the Mariners, I believe, is with the team, and they were trying to get some stud pitcher out of him. And
they wanted one of the top pitchers. I was like, stop asking that.
Logan Gilbert, George Kirby.
If you could get those guys for him, it's like, 100%.
It's a steal. Yeah.
But it's like, I'm actually glad that they gave the kid a shot. It's like, all right, prove it again. You did well for us last year. Let's see. Let's get this, maturity figured out.
I was just going to say, you called him a kid, but like that whole daycare thing that the fans love, those kids need to grow up and just they need to contribute. They need to do it the whole entire time.
Yep.
The daycare thing was cute for a little bit, but now it's because it's Stott and Marsh too are part of that.
Yep.
It's like
They're
you all got
there. So, hey, let's get up to the kindergarten or something.
That's exactly right. You guys
and honestly, at this point, like we're running out of time, right?
Yeah,
like our window is closing, right? Like we get to the World Series, we lose in the CS, we lose in the DS last year, and I don't want to go through the 08.
We have with the 08. It's like in really every year.
The same exact.
So they're not projected to make the playoffs this year based on that track record.
Yeah.
So which would be unfortunate for Bryce and the guys that like this core, I guess.
Right. Just keep losing a year of him each time as you go. It's
exactly.
So we kind of talked about Schwarber, whether he's 1 or 4. I think he's just going to produce. I mean, him as a
I'm
DH,
not worried about him at all.
I'm not worried about him at all. He's a staple in the lineup, and he's gonna the shit out of the ball. But we got Nick right behind him, Castellanos, still playing right field, doing that slide for every catch that he makes. It's that
he
slide.
Makes pretty much every catch he has to.
So,
until it goes to the wall and he can't see shit.
It's too damn bright.
But I mean, Casty, him and Bryce were the only guys in the playoffs last year, right?
Yeah, 100%.
If you look at the stats, like the lineup last year was so disappointing, minus Casty and Bryce.
Exactly.
And then Casty dealt with a lot of shit in the media about them trying to trade him.
The first year he came in, he struggled. He did.
Oh,
struggle.
Yeah, he was.
And he wasn't good. And it's like, we looked at it, it's like, I wanted him before he went to the Reds.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy was a stud.
And then we wanted that same Reds player that we saw. We're like, dude, where's that production?
Guy hitting doubles, he led the league in doubles. Yeah, it was awesome. And I was like, dude, I wanted him when he went there. And then on top of it, so you bring him in after the fact, and it's like he just struggled the whole year. And I don't know what was going on there, but he turned it around last year. He was actually good.
Yeah.
He was a productive hitter.
He was an all-star the year before. And last year, I think he didn't necessarily produce a lot throughout the regular season. And then once the playoffs, he's very, very streaky. And that's where you see the benefit of the playoffs of last year. Like, right? Like, so he's hitting a lot. And then, he just, he goes through those bad times and he gets in those slumps, and then if he gets out of them and he gets
bailing on pitches, he's swinging at anything that's not even close and
in the dirt for
but I do think that like his mentality is great though with media, like because the media is, especially in Philly, it's very difficult, right? Like
he knows how to handle it.
He's one of the worst.
Well, he's a terrible interview for an interviewer, but he is a great listen because he's hilarious. Oh, he's great.
So I think he does have a good perception of how he can kind of handle the media. It's just more so like Philly's tough, dude. Like it's very difficult. Like they can, like a Boom, he gets broken down pretty easily.
Yeah.
Casty's been in the league for a while. He understands media. He's been in big markets, so he can deal with it. But it's just I think that the fact that everyone wanted him gone after last year didn't necessarily make too much sense to me, unless what are you going to get for him?
Or who's going to fill his spot?
Yeah,
you know.
Well, they were like that's well, they mentioned that right before because Harper said he would have gone to right field again.
If
like
he
he
go
never
after
mentioned
a
that
first
when they were
baseman,
talking. He never mentioned that before when they were talking about trading Nick.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I guess if they were to trade Nick, Harper would just. And then that news come out where Harper was like, "Oh, I'd play right if we got a first baseman." And I was like, "Well,
so they could
then
go after
we could." But I
yeah.
thought you could still do that and just move Nick to left if you were going to go get a first baseman. You didn't, you know what I mean? But like,
and then I mean, if you think about the future, though, right? Like, is Bryce going to be in year 10 of his deal playing right field? Absolutely not.
No, exactly.
He's going to be at first baseman.
I think he's going to be first base,
and he's great, and he's doing great for. I would keep him at first base, 100%.
I mean, didn't he win a Gold Glove at first base last year?
He didn't win a Gold Glove.
No,
but he was in consideration for it.
Consideration, yeah.
So he is a much better improvement than what we've dealt with in the past.
For
first base,
first year playing, first base.
Yeah,
because he actually didn't just go in there and play. He actually tried. And, a lot of the perception of first baseman is you put your worst fielder there because all they got to do is just.
I mean, I'm looking at it this way too. It's like, all right, how many more years does JT have? That's
right now he's just got the 1 year on his deal.
Right. But it's like if you want to keep him around, it's like, all right, he's not going to catch all the time. So that's usually where catchers go. They go to play first base.
Maurer did it.
Maurer did it.
Did it.
Mm-hmm. So it's like that's typically where they go. But it's one of those things. It's okay. Are you going to extend him? So kind of what we mentioned before.
I would like to extend
this core only has a small window to do anything.
Yeah, but it's closing quickly.
Yeah.
Well, like we mentioned earlier with the older teams, like I felt like back then we extended the wrong people because we kept them so long, and I was like, no, that time frame we should have been getting younger, and then we didn't. Then we had that long drought.
Well, the other thing that hurt them is they couldn't draft anybody.
Right.
So you had nobody kind of behind these players, and like you're trying to win as much as you could with that core that you had. And they had nothing behind. They couldn't draft to save their lives.
Yeah, we signed old people. We were signing old people, Pedro. We were signing whoever. Just come over here, please, and try to get back where we were.
There was fluky losses. Like, I mean, we lose to the Cardinals. Freaking Holiday pitches a gem. He goes up a triple to Rafael Furcal in the first freaking inning, and then loses 1-0.
Yeah.
Like,
and then Howard towards Achilles on that swing.
The wind blew Chase's ball back in.
Yeah.
Like, it's Chris Carpenter dealing against us. So, it's tough.
Yeah, so it was tough there, but it's like, that's what we grew up on. So those years, and it's like I kind of see the resemblance in this team.
Yeah.
It's like they start at the World Series, they lose it, they didn't win it this time, and they just continually just go further out.
They continue to compete.
The difference,
the
difference then was that we built that team in 08. We signed this.
This whole team is signed.
We signed it in 2018.
The only players that we have that are actually from the system is Stott, who is a Bryce Harper draft pick, and boom.
Yep.
I mean, minus the pitching, like you got Nola, you got Ranger, you got Sanchez that are like, but the lineup, yes, absolutely, and that's where it's like you're spending $100 million on each.
Marsh was the Moniak trade, right? That was
Maniac.
Yeah.
But it's like, look at it this way. It's like, if they're not going to draft the players, then you're going to have to pay for them. Like, it's one way or the other.
Yeah.
So at least they are paying for them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah. So you mentioned it earlier, left field. We had a hole in left field. They go out, they sign Max Kepler. I love this signing. He's not the big, I've always said it. I like the big name guys to an extent.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the Braves have been really good about signing guys, just not the big ones, but just the guys that produce. Like the year that they won the World Series, it was Jorge Soler, it was Jack Peterson, and Eddie Rosario. It's like just guys that, they go out at the trade deadline and like, these are good just ball players. Let's put them together. They make up the whole outfield and they go and win the World Series. So I like the Max Kepler idea just because he was with the Twins for a while. He's a producer there. Comes here and it's like, all right, now we actually have, because we're not doing the Marsh Rojas transition. We needed some, like, there was no production out of our outfield. It was, if Nick wasn't hitting, the other two were just
nothing. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that he could turn that around in left field. I like the signing a lot. I'm interested to hear, like, what do you guys think?
It kind of reminds you of the Merrifield signing last year. Like, it's like a guy who can produce, and you're just like, let's see what we can get out of him. They're only paying him $10 million, so it's like, just throw it out there. If he can play every day almost in left field, then that.
And I had high hopes on Merrifield too. It's like when they brought him in last year, I was like, this guy he's a stud. He's a great infielder. He can play every position, and it's like he just couldn't. Like Sosa, to your point, he came in when Trey got hurt, and he basically picked up where he left off.
Yep.
So it's like I love the Sosa thing, but Merrifield just never got anything going until he went to the Braves and played against us.
Yeah, and we all knew that was coming, right?
Oh, 100%. It's like, this guy's a superstar
Merrifield
once he
revenge
leaves.
game.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, so Kepler, like, he should be the everyday left fielder.
Yeah,
so that opens up to where you're not going to start Rojas in center. You're going to start Marsh in center. Rojas absolutely stud defensively. Offensively, it's not great.
No.
So you got to figure out either get him to hit or he's got to get moved because you can't keep him on the bench.
If I were him, I would learn how to bunt, and I would spend the whole offseason in
fast as fuck.
Let me learn how to goddamn bunt.
Yeah,
and it's like if you put the goddamn ball on the ground and you can run to first, guess what? You're going to get on base all the time. You have the speed.
Yeah,
and it's like he tries to hit the ball at the ballpark. I'm like, you were the fastest player on the field.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to hit the ball at the ballpark?
Take a page out of the Ben Revere playbook.
God, yes. Or who's the other guy who played the Marlins? Juan Pierre.
Yeah.
All he did. Yeah, he played for both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like just put the ball down, like ground balls, bunts, whatever you got to do. Use your speed to get on base. It's like I don't need you hitting the ball at the ballpark. What you should be doing is you should be batting 300 because you're hitting the ball and actually ground balls getting through singles. And then you're scoring 100 runs because the guys around you are knocking you in. So
yeah, and I mean
Kepler, if he gets on in front of Trey, if he gets in front of Trey and steals, then Trey just has to hit us. That kid can score first to third. He could easily just run right around everybody.
I mean, at the bottom of the lineup, they have speed, like 100%. So I mean, we'll talk about Stott and Marsh and them, and it's like they're there to but the problem is they got to get on base, and they are not getting on base. So we mentioned it before. JT, one of the best catchers in the league.
I love JT.
JT
he's the best
stud. One of the best trades that they've made over the years. I think not only is I don't think his offensive production has been great when he was a Philly, but I love how he handles the rotation. Just pulling pitches, like his defense as a catcher, like he's got a laser of an arm. No one's stealing on him.
Yeah.
So it's like his defense in my mind is his offense also. So it's like even though he's not producing like he was in Florida on the offensive side, he is still producing in the fact that, when it comes to people stealing, they're not. Like he's not allowing.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was one of the best defensive catchers in baseball the past 5 years since he's been a Philly, right?
Yep.
And anything you get offensively out of a catcher spot is great.
That's the same.
It's just tough to rely. Like if you look at the Royals where they have Salvador Perez, the Orioles have Adley Rutschman. Like you're going to try and rely on a catcher for an offensive outburst. It's not that great. So you need those supporting guys around him. He's tight with Bryce. He came from the Marlins. We've seen him before. We saw how good he was. He comes into Philly. He's absolutely a stud defensively. And if you can get some production, he needs to step it up a little bit. I mean, he is getting paid a decent amount of money to be our catcher and be that guy to where he was in that 5 hole for a while. And now you start to see him kind of come back down in the lineup.
Yeah.
Which is a little upsetting, but right. Like he has kind of fallen off, but if he can bat 275 and get you to that speed on the base, because he is fast as fuck.
He is, yeah.
You can get him on the bases. You just give him a little bit of average. Don't necessarily need the home runs out of him. Right?
No, it's
we don't need that.
Honestly, the whole team, I don't need home runs. I'd rather you hit doubles and singles and build innings, big innings, instead of, everybody tries to hit the ball at the ballpark. It's like, okay, we have 1 home run and then 3 outs because everybody's flying out to the warning track. So it's like, put the ball in play. Like, utilize this speed that you have in the lineup.
Yeah. But I definitely think we need to try and retain Real Muto after this year.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I feel like they should have got it done already because they talked about it a little bit, and I was like, just go ahead and do it. That way we got him.
If you think about it, look at it this way. So we traded Ohape. He goes over to the Angels.
Yeah.
So it's like he was the guy that was going to take
the next spot,
JT's spot.
Yeah.
We have Marchand and we have Brock's favorite Stubby.
Thank God he's AAA.
Those aren't the catchers of the future.
No.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have an option unless there's a kid maybe in single A, double A.
Marchand could be. He's very good defensively, but again, he's worried about the offense.
Yeah.
So
he's a switch hitter too. So he can definitely play both days if he has to. Just to give, if JT happens to miss, they don't have to necessarily go, oh God, we got to bring Stubbs back up.
Yeah. I mean,
there's so many people thinking that there's Stubbs will be back middle of the year, and I'm like, I hope not, because that just points all signs bad if he's coming back.
So I mean, in my mind, it's Yeah, I would agree. Like, if we could bring JT back on a couple-year deal, like, I don't know how many more years he wants to do, but again, you're going to run into the issue of, okay, just based on his health and his longevity, do we move him to first and then move Bryce to one of the outfield
Do you
positions?
remember the game last year where he fucking got hit in the nuts, took one off the head, and then got slid into within like 2 innings?
Yeah,
And it's like, this dude is a warrior.
like he's getting
And he
beat
came
up.
back out, and then Rob was like, "Nah, let's get you out of here.
Like,
just take
absolute
the rest
warrior.
of the day off, man.
Yeah. And
Go
just
ice
like
up and
nothing but respect to JT.
oh yeah, I mean,
Hopefully he can be more productive this offseason or this offensive season and continue coming on because like he is one of the favorite guys like in the clubhouse, one of the fan favorites. Like everyone loves him. Like he is awesome. But it's just we need a little bit more production offensively.
Big year offensively
to
and
combat
not
that
worry
contract.
about defense. Not worry about defense. Not worry about what he does with the rotation. I think he's phenomenal there. But yeah, if you can, whether you're batting 6, 7, 5, in that matter, just produce a little bit. So, batting behind him right now, according to MLB, we got Bryson Stott. So, news came out, I guess, a couple weeks ago that Bryson, I guess, tweaked his elbow and hand a little bit last year. So basically what I heard was anytime he swung the bat, if he made contact, it was fine. But it was the times that he swung the bat and missed that it would just cause issues. So he was very he was very timid in like what he swung at. And he kind of talked about it to where it's like, you're very selective in what you're swinging at because you don't want to swing and miss because it hurts so bad and things like that. So, if he made contact, that was great. But
because there's a lot of times he just looked at stuff and we're like, dude, you should have been swinging.
But it was one of those things that nobody knew about it. And it's like, did you know about it? You just didn't say anything because you wanted to play, or
that should piss people off though. Like if you're hurt, man, like it's one thing to just play through it. Like, but if you're just gonna sit there and we're wondering if he's just struggling, then they come out and go, "Oh, I gotta get surgery at the end of the year because I've been playing with this." I sit there and go, "I would rather know that you were injured. That way, there's not an excuse made."
That was the JT injury earlier in the year, right?
Yeah.
So they basically were like, "Okay, let's get it was a knee injury, right?"
Yeah.
And they went to clean it out, and they said, "Okay, we can clean it out now." And he can come back, 2 months from now and be ready for the playoffs if we make the playoffs. Or he could play through it. He certainly could play through it, but now we're running into an issue of it may get worse, and then now you're pushing closer to the playoff time. Exactly. So you have to weigh those options of, yes, if you have an injury and there's something bothering you. But I think the problem was what he was saying was when he was in the cage and hitting, like he's hitting the stuff, so it's not bothering him. But when he gets out in the field, and that's when you have to swing the misses and things like that, that's when it starts to bother him. And it was just it took a toll on his offensive production last year. He is by far one of my favorite Phils on the team.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite for sure. His walk up song, it's sick. Oh, God, everyone fucking sings it along. It's so awesome to watch. But like, God damn it, dude! Like, figure it out.
No,
we need you to produce. We don't need you to be a fucking the guy that just. I
don't need you to be Bryce Harper. I need you to be the guy that's going to get on base in front of Bryce. That's going to bat 300 with.
We don't need Chase Utley, right? Like we don't need him to be Chase. We need him to be Bryson Stott and be out there, play great defensively, which he usually does.
He is,
and we need you to produce and hit more than 260. Like you should be more towards the 270s, 280 percentage.
So I'm hoping he can stay healthy this year. Obviously not have that
tell
issue.
Us if he's not. Just tell us you're injured, man. It's all right.
But no, it's like I'm looking forward to another good year. Mostly because he's one of my favorite baseball players, and just not the big names on the team, obviously.
And he's one of Bryce's favorite guys,
I always root for that kid, man. So I'm hoping he has a great year. Looking forward to it. And again, like you said, it's like I don't think defensively he has any holes.
Oh no, defensively he's great. Yeah, that's the whole reason I would say they kept him just going because they were like it's the best defensive option we have at second base. So just keep throwing him out there and take what you can from the plate.
Yeah, exactly. So
the thing about his song though, like it's okay to sing it if we're winning. If we're down 7 runs, just shut up. Don't sing the song. Nothing's like A-okay at that moment. Like we're losing, guys. This sucks. I'm like, it's all bad right now. We are losing this game. Sitting there listening. I'm just sitting there shaking my head like, God, why are we singing this song right now?
Hey, great move by him though.
Yeah, no, that's
fucking catchy banger as you're watching. Everyone just belts out.
Like we can't hate him. We love his song. No, we can't.
One of the greatest clips was that the home run in the NLDS against the Marlins, and it's like the whole crowd's singing, and it's like one pitch, not even like a pause in it. It's like he cranks it, and everybody goes wild.
Goosebump City is what that is.
Hell yeah, it's such a great moment. So, but no, I'm rooting for Bryson. It's like he's one of my favorites. So I'm expecting a lot out of him this year. Expecting a good season. Behind him, in the 9 hole, they have Brandon Marsh. I think this is still going to be some sort of a platoon with Rojas, Marsh, whoever else they want to put in the outfield.
Yeah.
He's been up and down. Like I think the expectations are that, we were looking for a center fielder. We're looking for defensive center fielder like Rojas, but we were looking for some bat production of any of our other outfielders. And I don't think he's hit the mark on either one. Like, especially when he's played, like, I know center field's one thing, but like even when he's playing left field, like he's misjudging balls. It's just, I don't know.
He's got to get a chance to play every day. Like if they got to start out this year, letting him be like, I would say maybe the first 2 weeks, like let him just, because he can't hit lefties, but you got to put him out there against lefties to try. Because
you're
not
just
going to sit there and take him out every time a left-handed pitcher comes in. It's just like he's not going to get better if he doesn't face him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the biggest complaint that a lot of people have is that Thompson doesn't allow him to hit against lefties.
Yep.
And it's like
the same thing. Like he would sit both of them against lefties. I'm like, well,
they never
do you expect them to hit them?
Exactly.
When? It's like, give him an opportunity. So
I think the biggest thing with Marsh is that when he came over, he was a part of the trade from the Angels. He comes in and he starts batting well, and we finally have a really good defensive center fielder because we dealt with Odubel before, that dumb
exactly
fuck.
Yeah.
Everyone hated him, I think. So that's like well known against Phillies fans that no one liked Odubel. So you finally see a guy out there that's playing good defense and they can actually put the ball in play. Looking at his numbers right now, when he came over to Philly, he was batting 288. Last year, 277. 2 years ago, 277. Last year, 249. You can't be.
That's a big drop off.
Yeah, you can't be dropping off that hard.
But I mean, to Brock's point, maybe that's because he's bouncing around between positions, bouncing around where he's going to be in lineup. So again, a lot of these guys, they do like to be just, all right, I know I'm batting ninth. I know I'm playing center field. I'm coming in like this is my role.
This is my role. This is my role. Inning?
Right. Yeah. So it's like a little bit of comfortability of being able, okay, this is my spot. And then, that might relieve some of the pressures that they have. So we'll see what he ends up doing. It's sad to see that, that's this drop off. He was playing great with the Angels. And it's like, all right, now you come to a new team that's actually, trying to make the playoffs, one that actually is going to make the playoffs, and you're just not producing. So,
yeah. And even in 23, his on base percentage is 372. Last year, 328.
Yeah, so it's still
that's
dropping.
huge.
Yeah,
like so that's more strikeouts.
Your whole job is getting on base. Like that is your job. I don't need you again. It's like I think a lot of the team has that mindset of, hey, we got to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And I'm like, no, get on base.
Yeah,
the big guys behind you will hit the ball at the ballpark, but I need you on base. So yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with center field. Thompson's got his job cut out for him with like trying to get this lineup together. He is stuck in his ways of that righty lefty breaking him up. Which I like. I'm not against it. There's a lot of the old heads that are kind of like, this is how baseball is done.
Yeah, and again, they're like, we won 95 games last year.
Yeah,
it's hard to argue with success, right? Like if you look at what Thompson's done since he's been the manager, we got rid of Girardi. Made Thompson the manager, and like
great addition. I love Thompson.
Yeah,
Thompson was great.
Girardi and he was the bench coach with Girardi. He was with Girardi and
he's been on
Yankees.
Successful teams. It's like he's been on the Yankees teams when they were successful. Like he is a great manager. Like he was just always behind the scenes, just like behind a Girardi or behind head coach. But he's actually got his opportunity now. Sure. He makes weird decisions, pulling pitchers, things like that, but every manager does. It's like you're going to question those moves.
Hindsight's always perfect, right? You can only debate it once that decision's made. Like you never know what's going to happen if you left the pitcher in. Like when you leave Nola in opening day 2 years ago, you leave him in longer, and then he gets crushed, right? Like it is what it is. So I mean, at this point, I think that it's Thompson's decision. He's going to manage the way he wants to, and we're just going to have to trust the process, right?
Trust the process.
It's
the theme of the pod is trust the process.
So, I mean, we'll see what works, but I mean, again, it goes through the whole line of decisions. Like, is Schwarber going to be 1? Is he going to be 4? Is Turner going to be 1? Is he going to be 2?
Yep.
And we'll see how it works. And then you just got to let Thompson do him. Again, he has shown that it's been successful. Last year in the playoffs, I think the week off hurt a lot. Yeah. A lot of the players came in cold. And that's been throughout the league. I mean, the Dodgers last year obviously are the anomaly, right? They won the whole thing.
But the year before, they got knocked out early.
Everyone.
So Yeah.
So I think that it is more the layoff of the players getting hurt than more so Thompson's management of the lineup and everything.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he does this year. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I personally think Schwarber should still be laid off, but if Turner becomes that guy, then hey, that makes sense too, and we're just going to trust him.
Well, the big thing is if Turner can be that guy, that makes the lineup all the way down better.
Yeah. But then
because he's
Schwarber also needs to be the guy for that too.
Yeah.
So
hey, well,
we'll
got
see.
something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the rotation. So no real argument here. Zach Wheeler.
Yeah.
Number one.
Absolute stud. Runner-up Cy Young last year. Probably could have had a strong argument to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Sale obviously won last year for the Braves, but Wheeler's a stud. The one good Met that they've actually signed.
Yeah.
So
not
here's
Taiwan?
to Zach Wheeler. So I love watching Zach Wheeler.
He just goes out, he gets the ball, and he fucking pitches.
No
upper
questions
90s.
asked.
The guy doesn't want to come out of the game, just goes up there and just throws whatever he's got to throw.
Yeah, he absolute stud.
He pitched that amazing game in the playoffs, only gave it the one run, and then they couldn't even score for him.
Yeah. And he's got that Hamels syndrome.
Yep.
It's like you come out, the offense is like, he's got us.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, we don't have to score any runs because he won't give up any. I'm like, no, you got to score a couple.
Nice,
then you win the game. Yeah.
No, it's like I don't think there's any questions.
There's no argument there.
Yeah, he's number one. He's gonna stay if he stays healthy. He's gonna be in the Cy Young talk again. So, looking forward to him this year and carrying the team. Big addition in the offseason, Jesus Luzardo. Big trade. I don't know what was the details of the trade. What they end up sending over to Florida. I think some minor league guys. Nothing
minor league, nothing like a substantial. So,
Nothing crazy, but honestly, like is he the number 2?
They have him as number 2 right now.
Over Nola?
So I think
at this point, really?
So I think what they're trying to do here is again this righty lefty thing. So this is projections. And I think what they're doing is like, all right, if we break up the righties and the lefties, then it's like okay, we're kind of along the same lines. So I think what they were looking at is like, all right, we'll go Luzardo as the left-handed pitcher, and then we'll follow up with Nola after. And then we go Sanchez, and then
well,
it would be Ranger, but Ranger's got back issues, so it's going to be Brock's favorite pitcher, Taijuan Walker.
Well, according to Todd Zalecki, though, the reason Luzardo is pitching game 2 is because they want us to have Sanchez do the home opener. So Luzardo might not be the 2 all the time.
Yeah.
It's just right now.
I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter. And I don't think Nola holds any, he doesn't care. Like, when he gets the ball, he's going to go. If it's a playoff series, yes, he's still going to probably, it's going to be Wheeler Nola because it's always Wheeler Nola and they always produce. Like, Wheeler's literally,
you could have.
100%. I'd take them up against any pitching staff in this league.
Yeah.
Those 2 against any other 2. It'll be tough. Like, I mean, we can talk about it, but the Braves, Sale, Strider, that's going to be another good number 1, 2. But I still would take Wheeler, Nola. They can compete against them. So, and they have.
I got the details on the trade. So it was Luzardo and a catcher, Paul McIntosh. We gave up our number 4 prospect, Starlin Caba, shortstop, and Amarian Boyd, which was the Phillies' number 23 prospect.
Gotcha. So the shortstop is already blocked by Trey being here for the next decade.
Yeah.
And it's, you're trying to add, because right now what we had Taijuan Walker. We're trying to basically phase him out at this point. So we needed a solidified starter that we could, put into that spot. So I like him. He's got nasty stuff. If he can, another saying that always they can stay healthy.
Yeah, they get a back problem, right?
Yeah. So he had 2 good years, and then the last year he had a lumbar stress reaction and then elbow tightness. So it ended his year early. You remember 2 years ago, game 1 against the Marlins in the playoffs, he's their starter. He's their number 1 at that point because Alcantara was hurt.
Yeah.
So he has shown flashes, right? Like he is a good pitcher. He has good stuff. He's, I think, in the middle of the 90s right now. If he can bump that up later on in the year where it becomes high 90s, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
but
I think he has nasty stuff on top of
I just think that he more slots in like a 3 or 4 or maybe even a 5 in this rotation because if you got Wheeler 1, Nola 2, Ranger when healthy 3, Sanchez hopefully continues his progress from last year be your 4 and then Lazard at 5. That's a hell of a rotation.
Yeah, but it's
And
like I'm
thank
also
God
interested.
Walker would be out of that 5.
I'm also interested to see what Caleb and the boys do with him. I mean, look at what they've done with Ranger. Look at what they've done with Chris Sanchez.
Sanchez is absolutely incredible last year.
Yeah, incredible. And it's like hopefully he doesn't have. I don't want to call sophomore slump because he did pitch years past, but he had a lot of success last year, and I hope that he can like pick up where he left off. And I don't see any signs from spring that he's going to drop off. I mean, he's pitching down in the spring training. He's been
his velocity's gone up.
Yeah, and it's like whatever they're doing with Sanchez, if they can do the same thing with Zardo with the stuff that he already has, like this pitching staff could be nasty.
Yep, and that's what's gonna mostly carry. I think the Phillies is our rotation versus the rest of the division.
Yes. Yeah. We'll get into that when we cover the rest of the division, but I will take our lineup. I think our lineup, if they actually produce like we want them to and what they should do based on expectations, that's going to carry us. And that's what carried us last year for the first half of the year, on top of the fact that Ranger and Sanchez are pitching out of their minds.
Yeah, Ranger was the Cy Young favorite at like the All-Star break.
Right. But it's like that's what drove the team. I mean, we were 30 games over 500 at one point. And then we played the Mets in London and just dropped off the face of the rock. We were a 500 team after. So it's like we basically got into the playoffs based on that first half of the year. But it's the offense was showing up. So if the offense can show up and we can combo that with this rotation, this team can be very good.
Yeah.
So on the bullpen they didn't make they lost a couple of guys.
It's upsetting.
Hoffman was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Last year, absolute stud. Came out of nowhere. I wouldn't say came out of nowhere, but like he was always one of those setup guys in like the 6th, 7th inning that would pitch before, the big name guys.
Yeah.
So he comes out last year and just pitched out of his mind, basically put himself in position to be the closer. And he was our closer. So him, unfortunately, we had to let him go. I think there was some injuries there.
He was another one that had an injury he didn't really say out loud. And then when he went to
it must have been right in the playoffs because that was he pitched good all the way up into the playoffs. And then for some reason, I don't know if he was tipping pitches or they were just picking up on something, but he just could not get anybody out.
So in the offseason, he was meeting with the Orioles. And the Orioles had offered him a contract, and they failed the physical.
The Braves too, right? I think he met with the Braves also.
Braves as well, but so the one that I had heard about was the Orioles, and that's worrisome because like every Philly fan, it's like we don't know that.
Right.
The
so we're looking
underlying
at
issues.
It's like why
is
going on?
Like why are we not letting him go? And then we find out that it's like, oh, never mind. But that's the same point I was going to bring up was the physical. Like I was, it was
so that is tough. But again, like he was our high leverage guy. He'd come in, he was dealing. He's an all-star last year.
Yep.
And the bullpen, honestly, like was very successful last year. And then you lose him. That's a big piece that you lose.
Matt Strom's back. He was great last year.
Yeah.
He was great last year. I think he's dealing with a little bit of injuries right now, too.
Yeah.
So he'll probably miss the first part of the year.
Yeah. So we'll see with the bullpen. I do think that losing Hoffman and not addressing it with more than one arm.
Yeah, they didn't really bring in much on the bullpen.
Because like Joe Ross is kind of a long inning guy. He's not really going to be because he can even start if he has to.
Yeah.
Romano can throw 100 and he's also like 7 foot tall almost. So like they think that's going to. I mean, he's been good in the spring training, but so is Alvarado, and we know.
I think he had injuries last year too, right?
Yeah. So
again,
I mean,
theme of the pod is trust the process and stay healthy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna run with Strom, Alvarado.
Alvarado hit 102.
Orion
102 down in spring training.
Yeah. I mean, like high leverage situation. It's gonna be you're gonna run with Strom,
Kirk Green.
Kirk Green will be in there as well, but like I think it mostly will be Strom, Alvarado, Romano. Romano being the closer. Alvarado, we've seen him in the closer. He's shaky at times. Who knows? Like he had that.
He's streaky too. He's very streaky.
He had that absence last year that he had to step away from baseball for a week or two, right?
And then he was like, "Oh, I can't miss."
Yeah. So, but he's very questionable with location on pitches. So that's tough.
That was his detriment in the playoffs. It's exactly. I think he when we were playing the Mets, he walked half the people that were in there, and it was like you can't even take him out because he has to face 3 batters before you can take him out. And it's like, do we really want to waste him right now? It's like, all right, you got to get out of this. And
you go back to the point of Thompson though. Like we said that when he tries to do the matchups. Sometimes you think Alvarado is your 8th inning guy, and then he throws him out in the 6th inning because
just based on the
because their lineup, they're top of the line. I'm like, okay, you can survive the 6th inning though with another dude. You need your best arm in the 8th, like so that's
he loves to project that. So he'll look at the lineup and say, all right, here's their 3, 4, 5. We're gonna get our best.
Pedro or Alvarez from the Jordan. Sorry, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna bring up Alvarado to face him. And I'm like, you don't have to right now
in the World Series.
It's like you just need that later on. Yeah.
When you look back at that World Series, right? Like Alvarado was one of the best left-handers in the bullpen and any team. And then he's going against one of the best hitters in baseball in Jordan Alvarez. Alvarez is bound to catch up to it. He's seen him 3 days in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
He's bound to find out what he's throwing, and he's bound to take him deep.
Well, and the other thing, sometimes you just gotta tip your hat.
Yeah,
the batter, he crushed it. And, So,
and then ultimately,
that's what cost him. Yeah, that's what cost him the World Series. So,
and then since then, I think Alvarado, he had a lot of flashes to where he's coming out there, he's crushing it. And then he gets in those slumps to where he's just not locating.
He can't command. Yeah, can't locate.
And just not doing great. But again, I think
he's got the stuff.
We're relying on him. We're relying on Strom. And now we're relying on Jordan Romano. And I am excited about Romano. I think Romano is going to be good.
A good one, yeah.
He was very, very good with Toronto for 2 years. I think he was an all-star 2 years in a row or 2 out of 3 years in Toronto. And then comes in, he's throwing high 90s. He's lighting it up in spring. Obviously, spring, who knows what the fuck that means? You're maybe playing, not the best players that you're going into, but at least if he's throwing hard and can command his pitches, then that's all we need. We just need to. I think the one thing that I don't like about Thompson is not having a solidified closer.
Yeah.
Or solidified 8, 9, 7, 8, 9 to where it's
Madsen Lidge, it was you knew what you were getting.
We knew what you're getting.
It was your 8 and 9.
Madsen was the best setup guys out there.
Exactly.
But it's hard to win or hard to argue when you're winning 95 games a season, right?
Exactly,
you gotta trust the manager and let him make his decisions, and then you're running into those scenarios to where it's like, hey, we've got the top of their lineup coming up. We need to put in our lefty that's going to go against these righties.
Yep.
So we need to find the matchups and make him work. And it's just, we'll see what happens. But I think that Romano should be good as long as he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
He can be our closer. But
I like Kirk Green also.
He's got to take a step.
Well, yeah. And a step, what I want him to do is I want him to add another pitch. Yeah. Because right now he relies so much on that freaking sweeper or slider, whatever you want to call it. It's like he throws it. It is filthy, but it's like you need to combo that with I don't even know if he throws a fastball.
I think he's got a.
But the problem is we don't. The problem is we don't see it because he doesn't throw the damn thing.
He just throws.
But it's like if he could put another pitch in there that just can combo or play off of those, I think that would help him out a lot too. Because there's a lot of guys up there like, all right, why am I going to swing at your sweeper? Because normally it's not a strike.
Right, exactly. So you're trying to get us the reach, and we just can hang off that and make you throw a fastball.
So I'm hopeful that he can take it, like Cameron said, the next step into his professional career. And it's like, all right, let's add another pitch in there. Let's make yourself more valuable.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he definitely does. There's some nasty stuff, but right now it looks like it's just 2 pitches.
I was a little upset about
fastball, sinker, sweeper, and he throws 97 fastball, 96 sinker, 86 sweeper.
See, and it's like, all right, I would work on a split finger, something that because everything that he throws is literally going left towards the hitter. It's like if you could get a split finger where it's going to go the opposite direction, it's just going to add into your repertoire.
I just think if we're going to have confidence in him, he needs to step up because last year I think that he showed greatness 2 years ago
when he first came up and nobody's seen him
because no one had seen him. And then the rise to AA straight through AAA to the majors was incredible. And then he's pitching in the playoffs for us. And then it's just we need to see the continued improvement and continued velocity, continued command, and being able to locate the pitches.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we got to kind of trust the organization at this point to see hey, we're going to run with this guy as our high leverage reliever. But
the other thing too is we just mentioned, it's like right now he's coming in 5th inning, 6th inning, or spot locations here. It's like we already have the 7, 8, 9 if you think about it. But I do like how Thompson tries to, he does the lefty righty thing, but again, kind of what we mentioned. It's like if they're breaking up their righties and lefties and different lineups, it's like it's hard to throw because they're going to have to face them. So it's one of those things. The Phillies didn't do much in the offseason. But you mentioned it. They won 95 games last year. What do you think that they should do? And a lot of it, I think, is the team needs to meet their expectations of offense.
Players need to perform.
Yeah, you do. You're getting paid a lot of money to perform. Perform. And it can't just be Bryce every time.
Yep.
Because yes, does he make the most money on the team? I think so. I think he makes more than
and he's
Turner.
the face.
Turner might actually be above him.
I was going to say Turner might be above him, but even still, it's like Bryce is the face of the team. Bryce is the one that shows up. He has proven that he can play in the playoffs when he's not being pitched around because no one behind him or ahead of him is doing anything.
Yeah.
So if he can get some support from the Trey Turners, your Schwarbers, and others, it's like that's going to make him even better because now he's seeing pitches.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like our team's going to be driven based on these big price guys and what they're going to do. I think our pitching staff is going to be good. They're going to keep us in games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm looking forward to this season. I guess let's get into the rest of the division. Do we want to knock out the two bad teams and then get into probably the good conversation? I mean, the Braves and the Mets, they're probably going to be, if not winners of the division, competition in the division.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and we'll start off with the Braves. So right now, MLB.com, they have Jurickson Profar leading off left field. Big addition for them in the offseason. Played with San Diego for a while. I think he's going to provide them a lot of protection. A guy that's going to get on base. He's going to hit the ball. He's going to see the ball.
Yeah, he switch hitter. He's most likely going to be their left fielder.
Mm-hmm.
Can play everywhere.
He can play all outfield positions. The thing that is curious with him is that he was one of the former top prospects in baseball, right? Like, so when he came out with the Rangers, he was one of the top prospects. He was like 19 or 20 years old when he made his debut.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed flashes of like greatness. Like, this kid's going to be a stud. And then he fell off the map.
Yep.
And then last year, San Diego, they bring him in. I think he was a couple of seasons in San Diego, either in 23, and then came up last year. It was an all-star, which, great for him.
Mm-hmm.
Got paid a little bit this year. I think with the Braves, it's 3 years, $42 million is what I'm looking at here. So we'll see if he can stay healthy and if he can kind of replicate his success from last year.
Right.
But
still, with that lineup,
that helps a ton.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got speed. He's a good glove. He can hit for average. He can hit for power. So
we talked about it before. When you have protection around you, you're going to see pitches, and if you let this guy see pitches, he's going to produce.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna bury the lead, but what you're not going to see on this list is Ronald Acuna Jr. because he is still hurt. He's not projected to come out. I think
opening day he's not going to be available. Depending on how far he's progressing, it may be that he could be out until May.
Yeah.
So it depends on what the Braves are going to do.
He's normally going to be their leadoff. He's always been their leadoff, and he produces there.
Should be.
Yeah.
Right?
So he's going to more likely be their leadoff.
It's got it listed as 6 weeks here, still recovering from that.
Yeah. So depending if they throw him on the 60-day, he'll be out until middle of May, late May. If not 10-day, then they can bring him back whenever he's actually ready.
Yep.
So they still obviously need to make some organizational decisions on that point.
Mm-hmm. So batting by him, they have Austin Riley, third baseman. He got signed.
Stud.
He had a down year last year.
Yeah, but didn't get extended in the offseason? Or was it last year?
I think last year they paid him. I don't recall anything. I'm not positive about that, but I think last year was one of his down years. The year before is when he was balling.
The whole team was balling. They had 104 wins, 104 and 58, which is absolutely absurd.
He batted .256 last year with 19 home runs. The year before is when he batted .281 with 37 home runs.
Yeah.
So he obviously, as a 2-hole hitter, that's kind of strange. Like, he's kind of a bigger guy. He's not your prototypical 2-hitter, but I mean, he is one of their best bats in their lineup, right? Like, if he can get back to where he used to be, then that's a problem, right? Like, the Braves are known to do this, where they have these kids come up in their system, and it's like, holy shit, they've got one of the best hitters coming up,
and they signed him for 25 years over $4 million over 25, and I'm like, who's the agents of these players? And
they're the worst. They're the worst.
So like, you're gonna make no money, but you're here for a long ass time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great deal. Sign me up.
You have no options either. So
I think Michael Harris signed a similar deal like that too, just last year. So they're all like paid just a lot of money over, or
they
a
haven't
lot
locked
of
up.
money over a lot of time.
And batting behind him, Matt Olson, another guy that had, I think, a down year last year.
I love Matt.
He's such a good player. Yeah, such a good player. And 2 years ago, the guy was it 50 something home runs?
Yeah, Yeah, he's he led did he lead the NL in home runs 2 years ago?
I think so.
Last year was when he fell off.
He fell off. I think the team. I think losing Acuna kind of hurt the team.
Yeah,
For a large stint of the time, like once he went out, like they were struggling, and they did turn it around again. I think after the All-Star break, and they made a run for the division, and they ended the year with 89 wins. They were right there.
Yeah, 2 years ago, he hit 54 home runs, batted 283. Last year, 247 with 29 home runs. So clear drop off.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Acuna being out definitely kind of hurts him.
I expect him to be back up in the 270, 280 range, and he's probably
He was their best player. Then they loved Acuna having the stolen bases. They were like, we like him more. I'm like, Olsen carrying you guys the whole way.
And the biggest thing with the Braves at that point, honestly, it's like you get rid of Freddie Freeman. Like they
got him right after.
Apparently they had these situation to where the agents aren't even communicating the offers from the Braves to Freddie Freeman because they were just assholes.
Right.
He doesn't know about that. He goes to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just bring in Matt Olson and he drops 54 bombs.
Yep.
Like it's like holy shit.
They didn't miss a beat. They didn't miss a beat there. And they probably got more production because I don't know if Freddie Freeman's hitting 54 home runs.
No.
He's probably hitting for
300.
He's probably hitting 300 and like same kind of run production and stuff. But he's not going to hit the ball at the ballpark that much. But
I know a lot of Braves fans were not happy to see Freeman leave.
No, because he was one. Again, you said it. It's like the theme with the Braves is that they draft very well. They bring up their own players to the system. And, he was one of those guys. They drafted him, they brought him up, and he was a superstar. And he was a thorn in our side for a decade.
Still is.
Yeah, because he's in LA, but it's not as often as, with the Braves. But
that's a hell of a move to bring in Olsen. Yeah. Immediately pay him, and then he just comes out and produces immediately. And then last year again, drop off again. Their injuries were
and I expect him to be back up. Like he's gonna carry that team again, and he's still one of the best first basemen in the league. Behind him, they have Marcell Ozuna.
Ozuna from the Braves.
I can't stand Marcell Ozuna.
Ozuna from the Braves.
His neon, everything, it just drives me up a wall. I can't stand Ozuna. I don't like how he plays the game. I just hate how he hacks.
He's a heavy drinker too, isn't he?
Hey, cheers. Cheers.
No, I mean honestly, he had one of his best years last year. So
he did. And
he produced last year on a team that was trying to compete. He was the one that carried him.
He was the one that carried him, yeah.
So,
and having we talked about it before, protection, like he's going to see pitches, he's going to hit the ball, and he's a one-way player. He's only doing DH. He's not playing the field. But yeah, I don't expect him to drop off at all either. It's like we're going to talk about it. This lineup is stacked as well. Yeah. So it's going to be a good offensive lineup that. Hey, we'll see what our pitching staff can do against. But they have Ozzie Albies, second base, right after batting fifth. That's kind of odd.
He's a very good player.
That's odd as in the 5-hole. Like I would see him more towards the top of the lineup. He's another guy that
he can power. He can hit for power
when he's healthy. He's good.
Yeah,
he cannot stay healthy.
Yep.
So he has whether it's hamstrings or whatever else, he just tends to always find his way into an injury. But defensively, great second baseman. He hits for power. He's got speed. Like
I think he's one of the best, if not the best, second baseman in baseball. Right? Like, he's got to be up there.
He's up there for sure.
2 years ago, he had 33 home runs. 33 home runs. They had like 6 or 7 guys that were hitting 30 home runs at that point when their offense was insane. But like again, to your point, got to stay healthy. You can't stay on the field. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So. If he can stay healthy, he's a problem. He's great offensively. He's great defensively. Can get on base. So
another great defensive player on their team, batting 6, Michael Harris II.
Yeah, he got paid already. He signed, his Braves deal to where they don't pay him anything significant.
He's
they signed him early, but. Yeah, he's a stud center fielder. I mean, he's great.
Great defensively, and he gets on base. I don't think he has good power numbers, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. But hey,
16 home runs last year, but he batted 264 with an on base of 304. The year before, he was 331 on base, 18 home runs. So not great, but I mean, middle of the road power numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he's gonna be a guy that's gonna bat pretty well, get on base, and then play.
How many stolen bases does he have? Because that's another thing. He gets on base and he steals bases.
He had 10 last year and 20 the year before. So he's not like
I think
running
honestly,
all those numbers up. That's all Acuna.
Dude, last year, like, it just seems like the Braves offense just didn't perform. So if you look 2 years
took a
ago,
step back.
when everybody was producing, like, you're just rattling off the numbers of, what Olsen did, what Azuna did, like everybody that year when they had 104 wins was just that offense was probably one of the best we've ever seen.
Plus, they were missing guys all throughout the year. So, like, you had some games where, like, Olsen was by himself with a bunch of, so, like, they didn't have to pitch to him. Towards the end of the year, Riley was, like, the only one because Albies was going, like, and Riley got hurt himself going into the play. So, it was just like, it's like no matter what they did, they just kept running into a wall of people getting hurt. And it was just like,
yep. I just think that was the theme of their year last year. It's injuries. And you had the two big guys go out with major injuries.
Yeah.
And then everybody else was just like
sporadically got injured for a couple games. It was just like never could get consistent play all the time. Yep.
So batting behind him, Drake Baldwin, catcher.
Never heard of him.
Seems to be
never rookie. Heard of him either, but it's like, they tried to follow that hey, let's fleece the A's again for any opportunities we can or players they have. They tried to bring in Sean Murphy. Sean Murphy has not lived up to any of the expectations I'm sure any Braves fan would say. So he's been hurt. He's
hurt right now.
Yeah. 2 years ago, he was batting very well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it now. He signed a 6-year deal for $73 million with the Braves. Last year, absolute shit. Batted 193.
Yeah.
The year before that, the year before that, he batted well and hit like 20 something home runs.
The ex-Philly was the one that basically
Travis d'Arnaud. Yeah, and he's gone.
He's not bad. Yeah, we don't have to worry about him. Another guy that always wants to stick it to the Phillies. But
so this kid, they got him he's basically a rookie. He's got some minor stats. He's averaging like 16. He averages 16 home runs in the 2 years of 24 and 23.
So what you're saying is it came through the Braves farm system? So
no, he was listed as 2 different teams in 24 and then 3 different teams in 23. It doesn't even click him. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so Mississippi and then Gwinnett. So he was between AA and AAA last year. So I mean, we'll see what the kid's got, but I think Sean Murphy's going to eventually be their everyday catcher again.
Oh yeah.
Just obviously either depending on injury or if they're just trying to like kind of build him back up because last year was a very bad year for him, especially coming out when he first went to the Braves. Had a great year. Well, last year was not great, and we'll see how it goes.
And even it's like if you look at his A's production, he was a great catcher with the A's, and I remember when they traded for him, and I was like, are they just taking all of the great players off the A's and just going to turn them into their, that's their supplementary farm system. It's the Oakland A's. So, but yeah, batting in the 8-hole, they have Jared Kalenic, right field. I don't have too much.
I mean, so he was.
I think he's the kid that came up last year.
He was a top prospect from the Mets. They then moved him to Seattle.
Yep.
He didn't really perform very well in Seattle, and then of course, as what the Braves do, they bring him in and the dude starts producing.
Good.
So he actually is. He's played pretty well with the Braves.
Mm.
He didn't really produce with the Mets or the Mariners, but then the Braves take a fire on him and the kid starts producing. So
we'll see what he ends up being. One of Philly fans' favorites, Orlando Arcia.
Attaboy Arcia.
Attaboy, baby. Shortstop, batting in the 9 holes. So yeah, he's just one of those. Speaking from the Phillies' perspective, just annoying players. Just loves to just get under your skin. But
he'd have one good month and starts running his mouth.
Yeah. So we'll see what he does. I think defensively he's good. Offensively, I mean he's batting the 9 holes, so that's kind of what you're expecting. Yeah, he's not an offensive stud.
218 last year ain't shit.
So I mean, just looking through the lineup, obviously you put Acuna in there. A lot of this is driven off of Acuna.
Yeah.
And like what his production is. So, I mean, we'll see what the bottom of the lineup ends up producing, but the top of the lineup is absolutely stacked once Acuna's back in there. So, I think those are going to be the drivers. And then probably these other guys will probably pick up, just because of kind of being in that lineup, getting the momentum and, you're getting pitches to see, you're, getting opportunities to produce and just knowing the Braves track record. They're going to produce.
Yep.
So, their rotation: Chris Sale, Cy Young winner.
Yep.
Stud. So came over from the Red Sox. This was last year was his first year with the Braves, and he pitched Cy Young worthy. He was the one of. I mean, if you look at, they made the playoffs.
And then he was
they had
back.
89 wins, and a lot of it was probably Azuna and him.
Yep. They drove the team last year.
Yeah.
A lot of things with Sale is he's a lefty, and he throws like the
He throws
arm
crossbody.
pocket that he throws out of, coming from a lefty that throws pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to pick up on.
Especially if you're a left-handed hitter, because he's literally
Yeah.
throwing behind you,
Yeah.
across you. And
So,
yeah.
But the biggest thing with him is he's older now, right? Like he's not young. He's had a lot of injuries in his past. Like he signed a massive deal with Boston after they won the World Series.
Yeah.
And just could not stay healthy. The Braves take a flyer on him. Again, here we go again.
Yeah.
The Braves take a flyer on a guy, and he turns out to be a Cy Young fucking winner.
Yeah.
So, great for them. But I do think that he's getting up there in age to where, I don't know if he can replicate last year's success, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the teams that haven't seen him last year, now they're going to see him more. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, he was absolutely stud last year. Like,
yep.
Credit to him.
He pitched great. Yeah. Pitched great. He didn't pitch that great, so Wheeler could have had the Cy Young. That would have been the only award we got last year.
Yep.
Their number 2 starter, based on MLB.com, Reynaldo Lopez, right-handed pitcher.
He was good at times.
Young kid.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere last year. Dominant.
Oh, go figure. Braves pitcher comes out of nowhere. Who would have thought?
Yeah. We're starting to see a trend here.
Yeah.
No,
that's what happens.
He came out of nowhere and was very good last year. So we'll see what happens this year if he can continue that success. But
number 3, Spencer Swellenbach, another right-handed pitcher. So it seems like they're right-hand heavy.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially with Strider still to come back in April. Sale's the only lefty they got projected.
Swellenbach, he had some moments where he pitched pretty well, and then he had some bad games too. So I mean, he's a young guy, so we'll see what he can end up doing.
Yeah, but I mean, like with that system and stuff, it's like they'll get him right.
Yeah, I think he pitched pretty well the other day in spring training. I saw something he had like 6 or 7 Ks. So.
Gotcha. Good. Grant Holmes, number 4, right-hand pitcher.
Not much to talk about there.
Yeah, it's probably another.
He's got a hell of a mullet and a fucking sick mustache handlebars there. So
there you go.
Hopefully he's still running with that. Looking at his picture from last year, so kind of a wild thing type deal, looking like he's going on. But I do not know much about him at all. So
gotcha. And
hopefully he fucking sucks next year.
Well, who knows? He's probably going to take Ian Anderson's spot, because Ian Anderson, if I remember correctly, is probably one of the guys that's been around for a little while. He stuck around with the Braves for a little bit.
Yeah, he's been there a couple of years.
He's had some success. He's had some downtime. So he's one of those guys right now, 5th starter. But once Spencer Strider comes back, he's probably going to be bumped into middle relief, maybe kind of filling in some of those games that maybe get away from this Grant Holmes.
That seems to be the same deal with Holmes. He only had 7 starts last year, and out of 26 games, that he played. So he seems to be a spot starter.
Yeah. And I know this is bad podcasting, but I'm looking at Ian Anderson, and he's showing up as an angel. So not sure how up to date these projections are, unless they made a trade to where he's now filling in as the 5th starter, but he is now listed as a Los Angeles Angel.
We blame MLB.com. We had nothing to do with this.
So, well, regardless, he ain't going to mean shit when Strider comes back. Strider's going to fill in the rotation. So Ian Anderson.
And I'm sure they got like 5 kids in their farm system that they're just looking forward to bringing up, and Phillies have to deal with them for years to come.
Yep, absolutely.
So now, Braves always are going to be one of the toughest teams in the division. I do enjoy the rivalry, mostly because we've had the upper hand of the rivalry, especially when it comes to the playoffs. But,
But it's never seemed like, besides the RC thing, it never seems like it's a hostile rivalry.
No.
Like, it's just like, we're both good. We know it. We'll just see who wins. Like,
I think there's some respect there across the 2 teams.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the team that we love to beat and hate to lose to, the Mets. The Mets. So we lost to them last year in the playoffs. Wasn't a good showing.
No.
As we mentioned earlier, the only 2 players that really showed up on the offensive side were Bryce and Casty, and our pitching showed up. I would say our pitching did show up, with the exception of the bullpen.
Bullpen did not show up.
Bullpen didn't show up, but our starting pitching did. I mean, Ranger came off of an injury, pitched probably the wildest 4 innings.
Loaded the bases twice.
He walked everybody that he could, but he found a way to get out of it. So it's like I can't hold it against him. He did his job, but the offense just didn't pull their own. So With that said, the Mets, they always tend to be a thorn in our side, even back to the 08 days when, we had the first core, I guess you would say, that we grew up on. So I think that's when we developed our hate of the Mets.
Correct.
So
yes,
it
very much
still
so.
stays to this day. So lineup: Francisco Lindor, Mr. Grand Slam, or was it a home run? It was Grand Slam, right?
Off Estevez.
Grand Slam. Yeah. Oh, Estevez.
Yeah.
Frankie Lindor, he's a stud.
He is.
Give him his flowers. Great ball player. He's great attitude. You can't not like him.
I liked
even
him
as a
when he was
Phillies
in
fan.
Cleveland. I liked him when he was
He
in
could have
Cleveland.
been MVP too. He could have.
Before we had Turner, I was like, it would be cool.
No one's winning MVP over show.
No, I know, but I mean, they were saying like you could have argument for him to do it. Yeah,
but I mean, he's a great ball player. I'll give him his flowers, right? Like he's good.
I'll give it to him. He had very similar path that Casty has and Turner has, where he signs a big deal with the Mets. He struggled. He was not playing well at all. And he kind of turned it around, came back the second year, and was kind of like, okay, let me get my feet wet in the new city. And then he started to produce. And he literally carried that team.
Yeah.
With, support for some of the other guys, but he was the face of that team. And, he was the one that hit the Grand Slam that just put us out of our misery and, carried them on into, the next round. Francisco Lindor, I liked him when he was with Cleveland. He was a great shortstop, great player. It's like
has a nice smile too. You get that infectious smile. That's
the worst nickname ever to be called Mr. Smiles, though. Come on, New York, you got to be better than that.
But they're not very good with that. That and the purple
Grimace.
Oh, Grimace, yeah.
Don't worry, I got some things to say later on about the Mets.
So, Francisco Lindor, I guess he would probably be the only one in this lineup that I don't absolutely hate.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm looking at these names going like, ugh.
We'll go right to the next one. Number 2, Mr. Juan Soto.
Douche.
Can't stand Juan Soto.
Horrible outfielder. Horrible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Somehow was a Gold Glove finalist last year because MLB loves to fucking give names the chances at awards.
Yeah.
If you watch the highlight clip of him just watching fly balls go past him and landing in front of him, and then you want to consider him a Gold Glove finalist, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. So not a huge. I don't think you're going to get anybody around this quorum of Juan Soto lovers, but I couldn't stand him or his shuffle when he was a National.
Oh, I fucking hate that. They put it in the baseball game too. That pissed me off. I was like, get this out of here. I don't want
them every time.
Yeah, I was like, no, don't just fucking shuffle shit.
So then he goes over to the Padres. He was there for a little bit. Honestly, like, I don't think he's a good clubhouse guy. Like, if I'm looking at it, he's very talented. I will give it to him. He is absolutely talented.
World Series champion.
He is. He's.
I mean, that year he won that. He was on a tear. Like, he's good. He's on the plate.
Yeah.
He's good.
He's great offensively, not so much defensively. No. I think it's the way he carries himself. I think the way he plays the game. He's very showy.
Yep.
He likes to. He's one of those guys that would basically just like promote himself, and that's it. I couldn't stand him in the home run derbies. It's just never been a huge fan. So he goes to the Padres. He's out there with Manny Machado and everybody else, Tatis, and it's like you would think, oh, that's a perfect fit for him.
Yeah,
but then they go and trade him. It's like, all right, so are you the bad? Are you the bad influence in the? So anyway, he gets traded again to the Yankees. So. Goes to the Yankees, and same kind of thing. He produced like the
Absolutely,
Yankees offensively. Like they had a great lineup. They made it to the World Series, fell short.
Yep.
And then now he doesn't go too far. He finally ends up with the Mets.
If you think about like directly after the World Series ended, I think his post game presser was like they immediately asked about free agency, and he pretty much was just saying, "Who's going to pay me the most? I'm going to sign with them."
Yeah,
and that's where it gets to the clubhouse guy, and it's like, is that a guy you want on your team?
Yep.
Is he the one that only cares about the money? And hey, 15 years, $765 million. Fuck yeah, give me that. I'm a me guy at that point too.
Yeah.
But regardless, like he didn't even like talk about his teammates at all. Like he's not that kind of clubhouse guy to where he's going to say, you know what, this sucks that we just lost. He immedially goes into who's going to pay me. I
can't wait to get paid. Yeah.
And that's where it's tough to root for him as a fan of baseball.
Well, hey, what a great landing spot with the Mets, because I can just continue to hate him and see him just.
Like you said with the clubhouse thing, there was talks like that wouldn't even talk to any of them after they left. Like once free agency started, he wasn't
because he
talking
knew
to
he was
Judge.
gone. He knew he was
he
gone.
was like,
So
I'm not. He's like, if they pay me the most, I'll be here. But I'm not. I didn't make friends with anybody. I was just here because I got traded to New York.
He was a signed mercenary, and he's like, "Hey, if we win, we win." But I'm looking at the dollar signs at the end of the day.
He's like, so I got a ring. So
I could care less about winning. And to be fair, he won with the Nationals.
Right. Yep.
He didn't win with any of these other teams that he's like getting traded to or signing with. He won with the Nationals. So I think one of the things there is 100% me guy. And, we'll see how that works out with the Mets. I hope he is one of those just players that just brings down the clubhouse.
I mean, he did his job in the World Series. Like, he played well. He was batting well. But again, such a fucking douche.
Yeah. Yep.
He's younger. I mean, he's 26 years old now, so maybe he'll mature. But like, I hope that he doesn't and just ruins that fucking club.
I say getting that amount of money is hard to mature. It's just like, whoa, how much more could I get in a couple of years from now? Like,
I don't know what the details of the contract were, but if there's opt-outs,
15 million or 15 years, 765 million, and that could be up to $805 million. There's apparently an option for the Mets to void the opt-out after 5 years, and then it turns into $55 million a year.
Oh shit!
For the last 10 years of his deal.
So gotta love to have Cohen money.
Knowing him, he'll sit there, because Cohen treats it like a video game. He's just like, I don't care. I'll just pay it's my money. I'll just buy whoever the hell I want.
Remember the pitching staff that they put together? It's like, hey, were you good 5 years ago? We got you.
I mean, on paper, you get DeGrom, Verlander, Scherzer. Like that'd be absolutely insane in 2017.
The problem was they were all hurt. And they had no offense on the other side of them.
And I guess to give the Mets a little bit of kudos is they were dealing with all of that salary last year to where they're paying Scherzer, they're paying Verlander to not be on the team, and they still ended up making a run.
And got farther than us.
I mean, 2 years ago they had 100 wins.
Yeah.
So
lost the division to the Braves.
2022, both the Braves and the Mets had 101 wins.
Yep.
So
Braves won the division. Last year, I think, was more of like the Mets kind of rebuilding, and they still had that ton of dead space on the payroll.
Last year, they had 89 wins. The year before that, they had 75 when the Braves ran away with the division with 104. So, it's the Mets have been consistently in the picture. So, I think adding Juan Soto is going to add to them, continuing to be in the picture. Like they're going to be a team we're going to contend with. It's just, I think we all collectively agree we can't stand the guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, another guy that we really can't stand, Mr. Pete Alonso.
Polar bear.
So another guy that just drives me up a wall in home run derbies because clearly that's the only thing that he trains for, but he's good at it.
And they put him in it. He's not even an all-star. They're just like, oh, we just want to have people watch.
Yeah, because he's just him and his pitching coach or whatever or whoever he has throw the pitches to him. They got a good thing going. Like he produces in the home run derby. He's the biggest dork, I think.
He's such a fucking dweeb.
Like
the fact that they try and parade him around with this home run derby chain that he knows what the fuck he's dealing with. It's just
So
the most swagless player in baseball, the biggest dweeb, fucking loser. Yeah.
So as you can tell, we're huge fans of Pete Alonso, but he signed back with the Mets. So he
didn't have too much interest in the market.
Yeah, he got nothing from
so I think every other MLB team kind of thought the same way that we did. It's like you're not the guy. You're not the guy. Like we'll see. So he's going to be continuing playing first base with the Mets. We'll see how that ends up working out. Brandon Nimmo, left fielder, behind him.
Douche.
Other than
dude, when you get just walk to first base, fucking running full speed like that, it just looks so stupid. Oh my god, it looks so dumb.
Sprint everywhere.
Walk over there. God damn, like.
I mean, he plays the game hard.
But it's annoying.
Exactly, and I think that's the thing. It's like the Mets just annoy you. It's like, if he was on any other team, you'd be like,
look at that effort.
Cool.
Yeah,
look at that
great.
Effort. Yeah.
If he was in fucking T-ball, parents would be appreciating his sprinting to first. We're in the fucking majors.
Bro. Just walk
act like
there,
you've
man.
taken a walk before.
Yeah, like god damn.
Batted 224 last year. Fucking keep bringing him back, Mets.
Yeah. So Mark Vientos, third base. He was a pain in our ass last year.
He was good in the playoffs.
He crushed it in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was good.
Credit to him.
Last year.
Who knows what he's going to be like full time as a starter, but he did play well in the playoffs last year.
Another guy that fits the I can't stand this dude, Jesse Winker. Used to play with the Reds.
Mets fans fucking can't stand him.
Yeah, well,
no fan base likes this guy.
Yeah,
he turns everyone. He's like the fucking WWE guy. He just turns heel on every fan base.
Mm-hmm.
The way he threw his helmet that one game, it wasn't even like a important. He just hit that home run and like,
yeah.
I'm like, what? It's not even that big a deal. Like, it's not in that moment. And he was just like, fuck it, yeah. I'm like,
again,
calm down.
Easily the most hateable team in baseball.
Oh, 100%. Just all down the line, pretty much. Yeah.
Tyrone Taylor, center field.
Cool.
Batting in the 7th spot.
They got a loaded outfield because they also have Marte and Jose Siri from Tampa. Like, I don't know what their outfield players are like because those two aren't even listed in the lineup, but they're both there.
Marte
fell off a little bit.
No, but I'm just saying, like, the outfield as a whole, they got a lot of players.
Yeah. He's popped around a little bit.
From what I know about Jose Siri, he's a good defender, not a great batter. I think he had some flashes to where he had some decent home run power numbers, but he's more of just more defensive than anything. And honestly, the way they build their team, like you kind of can have those holes, right? You have your up top guys you're getting all your production from. You can get that defensive center fielder.
Yeah.
Similar to like the Phillies, right? Like, we don't need too much production out of center field. But
yeah. I mean, we can go back to the Braves. It's like we talked about the bottom of the lineup. It's like, all right, what are they actually going to do? It's like, well, you shouldn't have to rely on the bottom of your lineup.
Correct. Yeah.
The top of your lineup should be the one that's actually doing the run producing. They're the ones that are just turning innings over and getting on base and keeping innings alive, that kind of thing. So,
Siri's also another one where he hits a home run, he tries to pimp it and like piss the pitcher off. So he's another one that
I mean,
that's like all the Mets.
Yeah. I don't necessarily care about
except for Lindor. Lindor, like I said before,
it's just your attitude after.
Yeah,
and if you're consistently being a dickhead, then, people are not going to like you. But
so Brett Beatty, second base.
Oh my God! They let go of Jose Iglesias.
Yeah,
they can't do a fucking rap song anymore.
Fucking stupidest shit in the world. I'm like, this is a bad song altogether. It's just so bad. I didn't understand
I don't even know the fucking song. I'm just tired of seeing.
They
Mets
did like a halftime show and like a regular. I'm like, what are we fucking doing? We're having a concert and he's on your roster. That's just that was dumb.
Oh, remember they used to have the trumpets.
Well, that's not too bad with Diaz coming out. I kind of like it. If it was one of our closers doing that, I'd be all about that trumpet noise. But
we were late to
the actual song of him making a song, that was dumb. Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, we were late to the game of the whole like antics with like bullpen and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like because the Braves they had the hawk or the tomahawk chop and it's like they have like the lights dim.
The lights dim for some of you,
and that was really cool. And it's like. And then the Mets had the trumpets with Diaz coming out and everything.
Yeah, the Orioles. The Orioles do it for Batista. They do like the
now the Phillies finally picked it up, and it's they were like it's like okay, yeah, now they have the lights that come out for the different players, but it's not like a themed thing where you have like trumpets or a chop. It's.
I mean, honestly, as a fan of baseball, no matter what team you like, it will be cool when your team does that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But be prepared for when it goes bad for you to get fucking shit on by every other fan base.
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly what happened with Evan Diaz. He tore his fucking Achilles, I believe it was, in the World Baseball Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Where are them trumpets at? We're going to blast them every goddamn time that's come out there, but not their closer because he blew his Achilles out.
Especially Philly, because they don't hold anything back.
So just be prepared if you guys do some cool shit you like, and then it goes wrong, you're going to get it thrown right back into your face.
So batting ninth, Luis Torrens, catcher. I don't got much on this guy.
Alvarez is hurt.
Yeah, Alvarez is hurt. So I think it was a broken bone in his hand is what got him. So he'll be back. But
the other one you don't see is Jeff McNeil. He'll probably be back too. He's dealing with injuries also. Oh yeah,
He had 1 year though, man. McNeil could hit. Like he can hit though. Like as much as we hate him, he can get on base.
Yeah, but he hasn't he did that 1 year, and then the last few, it's like he can't do anything. He's one of those guys. It's like, why is this guy even like? You look at him, it's like, why is he even good? He doesn't look like he's a ball player.
The Luis Torrens guy is 850 games, but only or at bats, but only has 22 home runs. Yeah, he's not. He only has 1 year.
Yeah, McNeil batted 238. So cool, bring him back.
Yeah. So, all right, jumping into the rotation, Kodai Senga.
There's the Ghost Fork, I believe, is what they call it.
Yeah, right-hand pitcher.
Yeah. He had injuries last year. He came over 2 years ago, pitched pretty well. I think injuries kind of derailed him a little bit last year. He came back towards the end of the year. I think in the playoffs he pitched.
Yeah, because he wanted. Remember, he wanted to face us in the very first pitch for Chuck Yard, and we were like, "Oh, you wanted to face us? Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead, yeah, like get up there."
Well, maybe to Cameron's point, I don't see Trey taking first pitch bombs.
No, I know, but I mean, it was just like, he's like, "I want to face him," and he had pitched like all year, and I was like, "There you go, like crushed it."
So I mean, he does have some Philly stuff. Obviously, if he can stay healthy, it's he's got a good arsenal of stuff, and it's not stuff that people have seen. Like he doesn't throw typical American pitching.
Yeah.
So it's tough to catch up to unless you've seen it before. So see what he does.
So, number 2, Clay Holmes, another right-hand pitcher.
Yeah, he was the closer for the Yankees most of last year,
and now he's a starter.
They've converted him to a starter. Apparently, he wanted to be a starter instead of being a closer after he lost his closing job with the Yankees last year in September. So hopefully, that's good things for the Phillies. That he is kind of just stubborn to where he's like, "Oh, I can't be a closer because you suck at it," and then he wants to be a starter.
He can suck at it for multiple innings, not just one.
We'll see. I mean, he throws gas, so we'll see how long he can throw. Obviously, he's going to have the whole off season to become a starter.
Yeah.
And he was very good last year until he wasn't, right? So see what he gets out of that.
David Peterson, left-hand pitcher.
He's just a guy they throw out. I mean, they got Manaea and Montas are both out for a good while. So David Peterson's always been that dude they just throw out there to fill in like a 6 rotation spot. So he's just third because of who's missing.
Yeah, so Sean Manaea is out with a right oblique strain, and Frankie Montas a high-grain lat strain. So they won't be starting the season. Manaea, we saw him in the playoffs. He's another unorthodox pitcher that kind of throws crossbody.
He's like Chris Sale.
Chris Sale, very similar. Long hair. Yeah. So I mean, he pitched great against us. I mean,
he was great at the end of last year. He was not great until I think there was a story about it that he worked with this pitching coach, and then during his bullpens, he started throwing from one mound to the other plate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it changed the way that he attacks hitters anymore. Is that he throws the crossbody. He's got some nasty movement on it, so he's a good pitcher, but we'll see how long it can last, right? Like once players actually get accustomed to it and kind of understand what you're doing, you're not going to be fooled like you once were, right? So,
yeah, because remember we had the pitch machine trying to do his mechanics so we could figure it out because they were worried they were struggle so much on it.
Yep. Frankie Montas, he was decent. I think he's bounced around as well. I think he was on either the A's or Mariners, somewhere out west, and then he went to the Reds, and then I think he was also on the Yankees.
I was just saying, it was the Yankees
career too. Yeah. So he has some good moments, but he's never been anything like to write home about as like an ace.
Yeah.
So I bet he'll fill in fine as like a 4 or 5 guy.
He was on Oakland for a lot from 20.
I mean, if I'm looking at the rotations here,
he was on Oakland for a while and then got traded to the Yankees in 2022.
Yeah, and then was the last year was he on the Reds.
And like
Cincinnati, Milwaukee. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm looking at the rotations here, it's like I don't think the Mets rotation
should scare anybody.
Yeah, no, not at all. Especially with the lineups that we have, it's like they did beat us in the the playoffs last year,
series.
but I don't think that was because of their pitching staff. I think it was more so our offense just disappearing.
Absolutely. That week off, man, it's something to be debated about. Obviously, like the Phillies benefited it the past 2 years, because we're coming in as one of the hotter teams of baseball.
Hotter teams, yeah. And last year we were hot at the start of the year and just played 500 baseball after. Yeah. So
we played the Braves 2 years ago. They have that week-long break. We come in, beat them. And then next year we're the opposite, right? Like we have that week off. The Mets come in, beat us.
Yep.
So
we'll see. Don't get the week off.
Yeah, I mean the Braves tried it last year and it didn't necessarily work out for them either. But
so
it worked for the Mets, right? Like the Mets were the wild card team. They came in, they beat Milwaukee, and then they come in, beat Philly, and then they lose in the CS against the Dodgers. Yeah. So thank God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank God. So thank you, Dodgers. So I mean, I think this division is those 3 teams. I mean, the Nationals, they still have C.J. Abrams as their leadoff hitter. Dylan Cruz in right field.
He should be a good player.
Yeah. Cruz is going to be good. He was second draft pick behind Skeens last year, I believe, or 2 years ago.
Mm.
They 2 years ago. They went 1 and 2, and they were teammates.
They were teammates at LSU. Yep. James Wood, he was a guy that actually played in Delaware at the Blue Rocks.
He's gonna be good too.
He's
Delaware being
he's a big son bitch
affiliate for
the
Nationals. So
he's going to be good too. So those three kids are going to be some problems. Say Abrams, I believe, was part of the Soto deal from San Diego. And Cruz and Wood being draft picks. So
they brought in Nathaniel Lowe. He's going to be playing first base, batting 4.
He had some good.
Guy has some pop.
He has some good numbers in Texas. Not crazy, but I think that he has produced a little bit. Flashes, I think, in 2022, he hit 302 with 27 home runs.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's 3 years ago, but if he can regain any of that form, that'd be great for the Nationals as a team that's trying to just rebuild at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they just need to hit on some of these draft picks and stuff. And I mean, if you think about it, look at their track record.
Yeah.
Half of them were on our team.
Yeah, we love
Harper, Trey Turner, Juan Soto, Anthony Rendon. I mean, he was great when he was with them. He goes to LA and he's just collecting checks. But I mean, they have a track record also of being able to hit on some players. So I'm sure we'll be talking about some of these kids that they have coming up and being like, Dylan Cruz, the next Philly, hopefully in 6 years.
Hey, we need a right fielder.
Hey, there you go. Right. They bring Josh Bell in, DH. This another guy that's kind of bounced around the NL East.
He was there last year too, wasn't he? Or
I know he's with the Marlins.
Been with them
he's popped around in different teams, and he's a guy. It's left-handed bat, big guy, crushes the ball when he gets a hold of it. So he's kind of popped around different teams, and I think he was with the Pirates one year.
He was
with the Marlins.
Started with the Pirates, went to the Nats, went to the Padres, went to Cleveland, went to Miami to Arizona, and now back with the Nats. So my man has been everywhere.
Yeah, 1-year deals, baby.
Loves apartments.
Yeah, exactly. So Luis Garcia Jr., second baseman, batting 6th.
Not much about him.
Yeah, he's probably another young kid that they're bringing up. Keibert Ruiz. Probably.
I've heard good things about him. I think he's one of their top prospects.
He had moments
was one of their top prospects and then got brought up to the big leagues. Catcher, I mean, again, we'll see what happens with catchers. Catchers aren't necessarily expected to produce crazy offensive numbers. It's more just kind of like what they do defensively anymore. But yeah, I mean, he didn't bat very well last year. 229 with 13 home runs.
Yep.
But on base percentage 260, not great. So hopefully he's great defensively.
That's
maybe what they're hoping for.
I mean, that's kind of like you mentioned it earlier. It's like when it comes to catchers, it's like we're not expecting them to bat like Buster Posey or bat like Salvador Perez. It's like what we're looking for, even like some of the Contreras brothers. And it's like what we're looking for is we want somebody that's going to be able to, be defensive studs, but also like keep the rotation going. And like you're helping the pitching staff out at this point.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what he ends up turning into be. Probably a young kid that they have that came up. They brought in Paul DeJong, third base. I think it's just a veteran presence in the locker room.
Yeah.
Maybe try to,
former Cardinal, I think.
Yeah, he's been around.
Veteran guy.
Someone just, to go along with the Josh Bells and Nathan Lowe's, who kind of been around a little bit to help, mentor these young guys. And then batting 9th, Jacob Young, center fielder.
Yeah, he's a 25-year-old, assuming he's one of their good prospects. Looks like he's come in. He played 150 games for the Nats last year, batted 256, so nothing crazy, but maybe he'll project in the future. I don't know. Never really heard too much about him, to be honest.
Yep. And speaking of some other guys we probably haven't heard too much about, the rotation, Mackenzie Gore, left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, I think he was also included with Abrams in the Soto trade from San Diego. He's shown some flashes. The rate throws pretty well, but nothing that I've seen like absolutely crazy blows you away as a hitter. So maybe he's still got to be pretty young at this point.
I mean, they got him starting.
He's 26 years old, so.
Yeah, so we'll see what that works out with, opening day starter. Jake Irvin, right-hand pitcher.
Yeah.
2 slot.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah.
Congrats on the number 2 slot protection, bud.
Number 3, one of the guys we've seen, Michael Soroka.
I'm interested to see how he comes back. You know, so when he was on the Braves, he was a stud, right? Like he was their ace for a little while until Strider came along. And even Max Fried, right? Like Max Fried, I think, was better than Soroka, but Soroka was the young guy for the Braves that was really good. Tore his Achilles, I think, in back-to-back years. while rehabbing, and he tore it again. So who knows what he's going to do anymore?
Hanging out massage parlors with Watson.
Right. Yeah. Like, how
That'd
are you guys tearing it?
wild. But so I was looking up his stats earlier today, and last year he was on the White Sox, and he went 0-10 in 25 appearances, 9 starts.
Well, I mean,
The White Sox were dog shit.
I'm pretty sure you signed somebody in their 0-10 with the White Sox.
So who knows what he's going to be back to? But I think if he gets back to as a starter and he can stay healthy, maybe he can regain his form back when he was on the Braves.
Right. So number 4, Mitchell Parker, left-handed pitcher. Don't have much of
Nothing
Mitchell
on
Parker.
him. Good
Probably
job,
just
Mitchell
a
Parker.
guy. Yeah.
Congrats.
Number 5, Trevor Williams,
I think that guy stinks, right? Doesn't he stink?
He probably does.
Yeah,
but,
he probably.
I mean, it's
great.
probably just a guy that fills the spot at this point.
Yeah, that's what
I mean,
most of the Nationals pitchers.
It seems like the Nationals at this point, it's like they probably have prospects that they're in the process of bringing up, but they're not in a win now mood.
Yeah.
You're taking shots on these kids, seeing if they can turn into anything. But at the end of the day, you have 3 juggernauts at the top of the division that you're competing with. So as long as you steal some games here or there, which they certainly tend to do, especially against the Phillies, because they always like to play down to their competition.
Yeah.
They're going to be something that they're trying to build from what they have in the farm system.
Yeah, and actually, I do want to apologize to Mr. Trevor Williams. He started 13 games last year with a 2.03 ERA.
Oh, good. So now he's going to be a Cy Young against us.
Yeah,
against
if
the
he's
Phillies
still slotted as their number 5 guy, something's clearly wrong. But yeah, so we'll see how
it's all Cam's fault. All the hate mail can go to him.
Look, 23, he was 6-10 with a 5.55 ERA. So last year he only pitched 66 innings, so maybe he got hurt during his peak. But
yeah.
And
what runs?
Again, pretty sure that guy Washington.
Stinks. Yeah, so
just gonna throw that out there.
2 ERA is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
that's not shabby.
Marlins. Let's jump down to the Marlins. So I think we can all agree. I don't think we're going to see much out of the Marlins this year. Going down this lineup, I mean, I don't see anybody that I recognize from last year, but I'll let you guys kind of set the table.
Let's look at Griffin Conine. Is he Jeff Conine's son?
Well, probably, yeah. I mean, it makes sense for the Marlins, right? So leading off, they have Xavier Edwards, shortstop.
Son of Jeff Conine.
Is it son of Jeff Conine?
Yes,
look at that. Is. There you go.
Trying to pull some Toronto Blue Jays bullshit on us, right?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, did you know that J.P. Crawford?
Hey,
Justin.
I had a blank.
J.P. Crawford.
Yeah, I was
Justin Crawford. J.P. Crawford's nephew.
Yeah, but I had a blank moment.
But yeah, no, I mean, honestly, looking at this lineup, these are a lot of guys that I don't think I'll ever touch in fantasy baseball and never think that they're going to produce.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to spend a lot of time here because I don't think there's much time to spend. But just going down the lineup: 1, Xavier Edwards, shortstop.
I almost feel bad for him.
2, Connor Norby, third base.
Sick name.
3, Jonah Bride, DH. 4, Matt Mervis, first base. Number 5, Derek Hill, center field. 6, Griffin Conine. As mentioned, Jeff Conine's son. So it's interesting to see back in Florida. Yeah,
fun facts with the Marlins lineup.
There you go. Yeah. Right field, batting 7th, Otto Lopez, second base. 8, Kyle Stowers,
he used to play for Baltimore. That's how I know that name. He was a Baltimore.
Lopez or Stowers?
Oh, Stowers.
Stowers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
9, Nick Fortes, catcher. Rotation. I mean, this is about a guy that everybody should know in the league, Sandy Alcantara. He's one of the best pitchers in the league.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's still in Miami.
He's one of the only guys that still gets complete games.
Yeah, and I think if he could stay healthy, he's going to get traded at some point.
Absolutely.
The problem is he keeps getting hurt before trade deadline or shortly after, and just they can't unload him. But
he'll be a Dodger here shortly.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Oh,
no.
yeah,
that's the Japanese.
Oh no, sorry, they don't trade. They sign, so he'll be a Yankee.
Yeah, and then he'll sign. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So number 2, Cal Quantrill, right-hand pitcher.
He was just signed this year for a 1-year deal.
Yeah, he's a veteran. He's been around a couple different teams. He apparently was very good with Indians at the time, Guardians. He had a good run with them. Mm-hmm. Very, very bad in Colorado last year. A lot of pitchers don't do great in Colorado, but very bad last year.
Some of the hitters don't even do great in Colorado.
Yeah.
And hence why what they have last year, how many wins? Wasn't great. 60 wins in Colorado, 60 and 102.
Yeah, and probably
61 wins the year before and 59 the year before that. So Colorado Rockies aren't taking advantage of their ballpark.
Yeah.
The Marlins did trade Jake Berger to the Rangers, though. That was one of the names I did know. But he can play first and third, but
he's always a funny name to watch bat.
Yeah.
Berger, baby.
But he did have some moments last year where he was actually pretty good. I think he came from the White Sox, then went to Miami, and then of course a couple of games the Phillies were playing last year. It was like, this motherfucker's gonna go up there and hit a home run. And then we're just looking at his name at Berger.
Yep.
But yeah, so well, good on them for getting rid of him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marlins.
Exactly. Yeah. Number 3, Max Meyer, right-handed pitcher. Their whole rotation is right-hand pitchers.
So yeah. I mean, honestly, there aren't that many lefties anymore.
So our lefties should flourish. I mean, at the end of the day, this type of a team is the one you need to beat up on. That's where you build your wins. The Nationals and the Marlins, that's where you build your wins.
Yeah.
And then you get as much as you can from the Mets and the Braves and some of the other contenders in the league.
Like you said, you don't play down their level.
Exactly.
That's what we do.
Exactly.
But we do that. So that's where we'll go against the Marlins next year. Like, we'll get swept to one random series because Jonah Bride decides to hit 3 home runs in a weekend.
Exactly.
Matt Mervis hits fucking 6 RBIs one game.
Conine hits a home run with his dad to stay.
See it happen.
Like, everything's just happening, line it up for him.
Yeah. Then rattling or kind of rounding out the rotation, Connor Gillespie, right-hand pitcher, and Valente Belozo. I'm probably butchering these names, but hey.
Connor Gillespie's bounced around a little. I've heard of that.
That name's familiar, I've heard that name for sure. He's only been on the... So maybe he was a top prospect. I'm not quite sure, but unless that name is just recognizable from another sport.
I think I've heard. Yeah, I think it's from. No, I think I've heard him on the Guardians, but it's just because they've been pretty decent as of late.
Yeah.
So I'd like to jump into next is let's just go down the list, see who we got for division winners, what we think the records are going to be. Again, way too early in the process, but sure, why not? Let's throw some numbers out there. Cam, you want to start us off?
Yeah, so what I have projected is I have the Braves, unfortunately, winning the division. I think that they're going to go 93 and 69. Following up second, I've got our Phillies going 90 and 72. And then in third place, the Marlins with 75 and 87.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, going on a stretch here. Then the Nats are going to be in fourth at 70 and 92.
Oh, well,
and then in last place, we've got the glorious New York Mets at 40 and 122. One game behind the White Sox last year. So
setting records.
We'll see if they break
coming it off. Like, whoa.
We'll see if they have 40 wins next year. If they do, I'll put a personal bet out there that I will take my girlfriend out to a nice steak dinner.
Once they beat the 40
once
mark,
they go 40 games.
Man, hopefully it's not in March.
Yeah, they run off 20 a month. Like, fuck.
Yeah, so that's my prediction for the NL East this year is the Braves winning it, Phillies finishing second as a wild card team, and the Mets finishing dead fucking last in baseball.
There you go, baby. Brock, what you got?
So I also have the Braves winning the division, unfortunately. I have them at 97 and 65. I have the Phillies at 92 and 70 in second place. I have the Mets, though, third. I do think they make the playoffs. So I have them at 87 and 75. And then I have the Nationals at 65 and 97 because they're rebuilding. And then the Marlins, just a little bit over what they had last year, 58 and 104. So
gotcha. I'm very similar to you, Brock. Didn't have an agenda like my buddy over here. But no, I have the Braves also winning the division at 95-67. I don't think they're going to make the 100 mark, but I think they are going
to. It's very difficult to get that now.
Yeah, no, it is, especially when you got the NL West, which is also pretty stacked. So Braves at 95-67. I also have the Phils in the second spot, 92 and 70, making the playoffs, as well as Brock. Mets 89-73. They also make the playoffs. So we're going to have all three again. Nationals 71-91, kind of rebuilding still. Marlins coming down at the bottom, 100 losses, 62 wins, 100 losses. So kind of rounding out the 5 there. I will say, last 4 years, NL East, we've had 3 playoff teams. 3 playoff teams in our division have made the playoffs in the last 4 years. So I think that trend's going to continue. That's why I think the Mets and the Braves, as well as the Phillies, are all going to make it. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to touch on the other divisions in future episodes. So we look at that, and you think that out of the NL West, the Dodgers are a powerhouse.
Yeah.
They just beat the piss out of everyone. The Padres contend a little bit.
Yep.
The NL Central, there's one team that may be 5 games over 500. Right.
So now we're all predicting that. Well, you have only 2 teams out of the NL East going in the playoffs?
Yeah, at this point,
Yeah,
yes.
you have 2. Yeah. So me and Brock have 3. So that means there's only 3 left in the other division.
The Diamondbacks could be the other exception, maybe.
Yeah. So we'll touch on that on the next episode. So that concludes our NL East coverage. We went over the Phils, we covered the division and what our rankings are, and we're going to touch on the NL Central as well as the NL West, and then touch also on the AL side.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have an episode where we kind of pull this all together. We're going to go over our playoff brackets and talk about who we think is going to win the World Series. So stay tuned. As always, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Cheers.
Peace.